All right, let's dive in. If you've ever thought that business analysis is just about, taking notes in meetings and writing down what people want, well, I'm here to tell you to think again. The profession has grown up. It's now a standardized, really strategic field. And at the very heart of it all is this guide called the Business Analysis Body of Knowledge, or as we all call it, the BABOK. Let's break down what that really means for you.
So this right here is the modern definition from the BABOK Guide, and you've got to pay attention to the words here. They're chosen very carefully. Notice it doesn't say gathering requirements. No, it says enabling change, defining needs, and delivering value. This isn't just playing with words, folks. This is a huge shift in how we see the entire profession.
And what that shift does is it takes the business analyst from being a passive order taker, someone who just writes down what they're told, to being an active change agent. What does that mean? It means you're not just a scribe for a project anymore. You are a key strategic partner. You're responsible for actually guiding the organization towards much better outcomes.
Okay, so how do we even start to think like this new, more strategic kind of analyst? Well, it all starts with something called the Business Analysis Core Concept Model, or BSCCM for short. I love this. The BABOK calls it the genetic code of the profession. And that's perfect because it's the fundamental philosophy that connects every single thing an analyst does.
The BACCM is built on 6 core concepts. Now, the magic word here is interdependent. That means you can't touch one of these concepts without affecting all the others. It's like a web. If you really want to develop a true analytical mindset, the secret is mastering these 6 terms and, more importantly, understanding how they all play together. First up is change. This is the entire reason we're here, right? We're helping move an organization from where it is today to where it needs to be tomorrow. The analyst's job is to make sure that this transformation is a controlled, deliberate process, not just chaos. So what kicks off that change? A need. This is the catalyst, the spark for everything we do. It could be a really obvious problem, like a process that's totally broken, or maybe it's a golden opportunity, like a new market just waiting for us. But here's the thing, without a real, validated need, there's absolutely no reason for any change to happen. A solution is how we go about satisfying that need. Now, this could be anything, a new piece of software, a change to a business process, maybe even shifting the org chart around. But you have to remember, the solution itself is basically worthless if it doesn't directly solve that underlying need we just talked about. Next, we have our stakeholders. These are the people, and they are not just passive bystanders watching from the sidelines. No way. They're the ones who are actually experiencing the need, they're the ones using the solution, and ultimately, they are the ones who decide if the whole change was a success. You miss one key stakeholder, and your entire solution could fail. It's that serious. Which brings us to value. This is it. This is the ultimate measure of success. And this is key. It's defined by the stakeholders. Did we make things better for them? Now, value can be tangible, like more profit, or it can be intangible, like better employee morale. But if we don't deliver value, the whole thing was honestly just a waste of time and money. And finally, all of this happens within a context. This is the environment, right? The company culture, the industry regulations, what the market is doing. A brilliant solution that delivers incredible value in one context could be a complete and total failure in another. Context is absolutely everything. So we have this core philosophy in our minds, but how does the BABOK actually organize the day-to-day work? Well, it uses 6 distinct knowledge areas, and these provide a really practical structure for everything an analyst actually does. As you can see, these 6 areas cover the entire life cycle of any project or initiative. It all starts with strategy analysis, figuring out the business need. Then it moves into business analysis planning to get all our ducks in a row. Then you do the actual elicitation and collaboration with your stakeholders. From there, you get into the nitty-gritty of requirements analysis and design definition, and you manage the requirements lifecycle. And then at the very end, you perform solution evaluation to see if you actually delivered the value you promised. Think of these like the main chapters in the BA playbook. Here's a great way to think about these areas. You can kind of group them together. Strategy, analysis, and solution evaluation act like strategic bookends. They ask the really big questions. Why are we even doing this? And later, did it actually deliver the value we hoped for? And those 4 in the middle, that's your core execution engine. That's where you plan the work, talk to people to find the solution, and manage all the details. Of course, knowing the framework is one thing, but doing the work effectively, that's a whole other ballgame. A great business analyst needs a really deep toolkit of what we call underlying competencies. your skills, and a huge array of techniques to put them to work. The BABOK makes it crystal clear that the so-called soft skills are absolutely essential. I mean, just look at the competencies listed here. Things like analytical thinking, communication skills, and interaction skills. That's stuff like facilitation and leadership. They're given just as much weight as technical knowledge. You simply cannot be a change agent without them. And when we talk about techniques, the toolkit is just massive. The BABOK guide officially lists 50 different techniques an analyst can pull from. Now, this isn't about mastering all 50 of them. It's about knowing which tool to pull out of your bag for the right job at the right time. And these techniques all serve different purposes, right? You'll use things like workshops and interviews for discovery. You'll use process models and user stories to describe behavior. And you'll use tools like a SWOT analysis or a business model canvas for that high-level strategy work. The whole point is, there's a specific tool for pretty much every challenge you'll face. So with all this structure and all this knowledge, what does this actually mean for your career? Well, the great thing about the BABOK is that it provides a super clear, standardized path for your professional growth, from your very first day on the job all the way to becoming a senior expert.
The International Institute of Business Analysis, or IIBA, offers this awesome 3-tiered certification ladder. It starts with the ECBA, which is perfect for students and new professionals just getting their feet wet. As you get more experience, you can move on to the CCBA and then eventually the CBAP, which is recognized all over the world as the gold standard for senior business analysts.
And the focus of these certifications really grows with your career. The entry-level ECBA is all about knowledge. Do you know the official terms and concepts? But the expert-level CBAP is all about judgment. Can you take that knowledge and apply it to messy, complex, real-world problems? It's really a journey from knowing what to knowing how, and most importantly, why.
So if there's one thing you take away from this, it's this. The BABOK doesn't just define a job, it defines a profession. It elevates the business analyst from being a simple scribe to being a vital strategic advisor. Your role isn't just to document what's happening now, it's to help architect a more valuable future for your entire organization. And that really brings us to our final question. The BABOK standard officially defines you as an agent of change. So as you start or continue your journey in this incredible field, you have to ask yourself, what change will you enable?